Hello and welcome back to the Art and Business and Murals Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Scully, and in today's episode, we're going to keep it short and powerful. This episode is all about starting 2026 organized and motivated. I like how I've said start 2026 organized and motivated, yet this episode is coming out almost a week into 2026. Start midway through January, organized and motivated, because when you begin the year with intention and clarity, everything becomes easier. Your art practice, your business, your energy. This episode, you need to grab yourself a coffee, sit in the sun, get ready to reset your creative focus for the year ahead. So take some time. You will need a little bit of thinking time outside this episode too, which is why I've tried to make this episode quick and punchy. And then you can use the rest of the time that you had allocated to listening to this podcast to think. Gosh, wish I had more thinking time. A clean start creates clear energy. So before you even think about your big goals or big plans, the simplest way to start the year is to feel grounded. And to do this, you need a clean slate. So I always say that the organization is not about color coding stationery, it's about reducing friction. So it's about removing little obstacles that drain your energy. So one thing I want you to ask yourself is, what is one small thing that I can put in place now that will make future me feel supported? It could be a clean studio, a reset phone home screen, which, by the way, if you're on my newsletter mailing list, you would have been sent a whole bunch of new designs of phone home screens. If you would like one and you're not on my mailing list, just shoot me a DM on Instagram and I'll send you a link to them. What else could you do to support yourself with a clean slate? You could also do a digital reset of your desktop, making sure it's nice and clear. You could organize your brushes and give them their good annual clean. You could get a fresh sketchbook, although if you have been diagnosed with ADHD or imagine that maybe you do have ADHD, do not buy yourself a new notebook. Just go to the cupboard and reach for one of the 17 fresh notebooks you have bought and never touched. So don't buy new stuff. Use the stuff you've got. Just start small. These tiny resets send a message to your brain that you are ready to create and ready to focus. Set realistic and meaningful goals. So goal setting for artists doesn't need to be complicated. In fact, the simpler the goals, the more likely you are to follow through, and also the more brain space you'll have to be creative. So try setting goals in these three areas. Creative goals. What do you want to make this year? What excites you? What skills do you want to deepen? So those are all within creative goals. Business goals. Think clear and measurable. You might want consistent posting, better systems, regular newsletters, or reaching out to galleries or clients consistently through the year. So those are business goals or personal goals, or I should say, and personal goals. So these matter too. Your well-being drives your creativity. So think sleep, movement, rest, and connection. Now, for me, personal goals is probably the most important one moving forward this year. My goal is to not burn out. That is my goal. I know it sounds crazy. I should be like aspiring to like travel the world or something like that. No, I want to stop burning out. That is like the goal. So for me, I need to put routines into place that integrate my special interests or sensory daily things that I can do that will support me so that I feel like I'm getting rest each day. So before I move forward, remember the three areas are creative goals, business goals, personal goals. Now, I know you're an artist. I'm going to break this down even more. You're allowed to do one goal in each of these areas, not 17 goals, because every time I speak to a new artist and they're like, I'm thinking of doing your group coaching program. And I go, yeah, that sounds awesome. So what are your goals? And they're like, and this, 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 and this. And I'm like, that's awesome. Which one of you prioritize? And they're like, I don't know, maybe this one or this one or this one. So there's no clarity there. And there's all the great ideas, but without one solid direction to head. So there's a lot of overwhelm happening. So to reduce the overwhelm, to reduce the lack of clarity, I want you to choose one creative goal, one business goal, and one personal goal. That's it. No more. If you smash your goals, you can revisit them again in 3 months. You don't have to set those goals, smash them, and then be goalless for the rest of the year. But for today, one goal in each of the areas, creative goal, business goal, personal goal. And remember this, you don't need the long list. You only need a short list that you can actually commit to. Systems are what keep you motivated. Oh my goodness, I love systems so much and routine so much. Motivation comes and goes. Systems keep you going even on the days that you feel flat. I feel like this is me with gym as well. Like there are days where I do not want to go to gym, but the rule is I go to gym on that day, so I show up. I might do a half-assed job, but I still do it. So here are a few systems every artist can put into place for 2026. You could do a weekly planning ritual. So each week you allocate some time to plan. And I know there are some of you out there that are like, I hate planning. But honestly, if you want to reach your goals, if you want to have a consistent business, you need to figure out ways forward that you can integrate planning into your weekly list of things to do. That essentially a list of things to do is planning. Oh gosh, we could get into a cycle here. I'm not going to move on, Sarah. A dedicated admin hour, a social media batching day, a simple content calendar. And if you want a content calendar, I have a free calendar that you can download from my website. I'll put the link in the show notes. I have one that you can print out at like poster size, and then I also have the same one but in like A4 size if you prefer to flick through page by page. I prefer to flick through, but I do have members in my group coaching that prefer the big poster up on the wall, and it does look a bit spectacular. So that was a simple content calendar. Organized digital folders, a monthly review or check-in. And why don't you just add on to that monthly review or check-in, also back up your data on your computer once a month at least, if not nightly. A system is just a routine that supports you. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be consistent. Protect your energy. If you want to stay motivated this year, you need to protect the things that give you energy. Gosh, sometimes I feel like when I do these podcast episodes, I'm like talking to myself. This is like the information that I need to know, but it's also come from my brain, but I need to say it to myself. Again, I could get into a loop here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to move on. But yes, this is so important. Protect your energy. So this might be your morning routine that you're protecting, your studio time, walking, reading, or time off social media. It might be surrounding yourself with other creatives who inspire you. Motivation is not something you find, it's something that you build by caring for your creative mind. So, as you step into 2026 or are already partly into 2026, you don't need to start with intensity. You need to start with clarity, a clear space, clear goals, simple systems, protected energy. This is how you can stay organized, motivated, and grounded for the year ahead without the overwhelm. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more support in building the business side of your creative practice, you can find digital downloads, more information, everything you need at scullydesign.com, or you can join our group coaching from that same website. Until then, see you next episode.